You might notice as you listen to my words, a sense of calm curiosity beginning to take hold. It's natural to wonder how deeply you can allow yourself to embrace vulnerability as a pathway to growth. And as you think about that, perhaps you'll recall moments when being truly yourself felt empowering. Moments when authenticity opened doors you hadn't seen before. You might realize that being vulnerable, truly vulnerable, is like stepping into a warm light that shines on your most authentic self. And when you do that, people see you for who you really are. Isn't it fascinating how authenticity invites deeper, richer connections? Almost as if the more you allow yourself to open up, the more the world opens its arms to you. You already understand that courage and vulnerability, they're two sides of the same coin. And every time you take that leap, your mind naturally remembers that courage, it's a strength, a quality that defines you at your core. Vulnerability builds bridges. It's amazing how people, drawn to your openness, feel safe to share their true selves too. Can you feel how deeply this connection runs? Imagine a world where imperfection, it isn't a flaw, but a unique fingerprint of who you are. The more you accept this, the more you embrace yourself and others unconditionally. And even now, you might begin to sense how your acceptance of vulnerability creates a deep wellspring of personal growth. Like a gentle current, it flows naturally, carrying you towards resilience, new experience and wisdom. Any fear of judgment can quietly dissolve, like fog in the morning sun. You might find yourself realizing that the opinions of others reflect their world, not yours. Old conditioned responses that linked vulnerability to weakness, those were once useful, but you don't need them now. As they fade and new truth settles, vulnerability is a gift you give yourself and others. You can imagine, can't you, what it feels like to stand in your truth without fearing rejection or ridicule, knowing deeply that being seen as you are is the most empowering choice of all. Notice how these concerns about control or dependency begin to shift. Control, it isn't about guarding yourself, it's about trusting yourself. And dependency, it's not a burden, it's mutual support, shared growth, and the beauty of being human. And as you relax in this understanding, you don't even need to try to remember. Your unconscious mind already knows what to do. Imagine planting seeds of courage, authenticity, connection, and growth deep in your mind. They're taking root, growing effortlessly. With every breath you take, this new mindset strengthens. Every moment forward becomes easier, more natural. And as you go about your life, you'll notice subtle shifts. Maybe a situation arises where you might once have hesitated to share your feelings, but now, without thinking, you step into vulnerability with confidence and grace, because that is just who you are, a person who embraces life fully. You might notice right now a subtle shift in how you feel, perhaps a sense of lightness, as if some weight you didn't even realize you were carrying is beginning to lift. And with that, a new understanding begins to emerge. Your mind already knows that being vulnerable is the ultimate expression of strength. And as this realization grows, you can allow your unconscious mind to explore these truths. Imagine yourself stepping into a space where you can completely and unapologetically be yourself. Notice how freeing that feels, as though every breath you take allows a deeper truth to rise within you. Authenticity isn't just something you do, it's who you are. And each time you embrace vulnerability, you feel more connected, not only to others, but also to the deepest, more authentic version of yourself. It's as if, without even trying, you're becoming someone who inspires trust and connection, someone who radiates confidence in their truth. Feel that quiet courage inside you, growing stronger with every heartbeat. It's fascinating, isn't it, how courage doesn't need to be loud or dramatic. It's simply the calm, knowing that being vulnerable is a gift, one that you give to others and yourself. Every time you take a small step into openness, it strengthens you, building an unshakable foundation. And isn't it amazing to think? The more you embrace vulnerability, the less you even think about fear. It's like walking into a bright open field, leaving behind the shadows of doubt that no longer serve you. Picture this, you're sharing something real, something vulnerable, and instead of judgment, you see understanding in someone's eyes. Maybe it's a smile, a nod, or just a simple warmth of being truly heard. You're creating bridges, one moment at a time, building connections that feel deep and unbreakable. And each time this happens, you reinforce a powerful truth. Vulnerability isn't just safe, it's the key to the relationships that you've always wanted. You might notice as you relax into this new understanding that perfection has never been the goal. Isn't it freeing to know that who you are right now is enough? Imagine every small flaw, every so-called imperfection. It's just another brushstroke in the masterpiece of your life. You begin to feel a deep sense of self-compassion, as if a warm wave of acceptance is washing over you. And as you accept yourself more fully, you notice that others do too, because people are drawn to those who are unapologetically real. And perhaps you're starting to notice how certain old patterns, those conditioned responses, those fears, they're simply fading away. Almost like turning the page of a book. You leave behind the chapters that no longer serve you. Imagine a mirror in front of you, reflecting back only love and acceptance, the opinions of others. They're like leaves on the wind, passing, fleeting, and no longer important. Feel a sense of relief as you realize control. It isn't about holding tight, it's about letting go, trusting. When you're vulnerable, the right people and experiences will come into your life. Vulnerability doesn't mean weakness or dependence. It's a quiet, profound, powerful strength that grows every time you allow yourself to be seen. Picture this belief like a glowing orb, settling deep within you. Now take a moment and imagine planting these beliefs into your unconscious mind, as if you're sowing seeds in the most fertile soil. Each belief is a tiny spark of light. And as you imagine them growing, feel them becoming an inseparable part of you. I am authentic and real. My vulnerability is my strength. Connection flows naturally to me. I accept myself completely, and so do others. And as these affirmations settle deeply within, you don't even need to try to remember them. Your unconscious mind is already aligning with this new truth, effortlessly reinforcing these beliefs every moment. And now imagine a timeline of your life stretching before you, reaching into the future. See yourself at every step, embodying these beliefs effortlessly. Each interaction is filled with authenticity, courage, and connection. Every time you open up, the world responds with kindness and understanding. You might even notice in the days to come a natural ease, a sense that vulnerability has become second nature to you. And as that happens, you'll find yourself stepping into a brighter, richer version of yourself. So take a deep breath now and let all of this sink in. There's nothing you need to do. Just allow these truths to work quietly in the background of your mind, shaping every moment ahead. You may already begin to sense that authenticity is the natural expression of who you are. Imagine for a moment standing in front of a mirror, not just seeing a reflection, but truly feeling the truth of who you are. Notice how easy it becomes to be fully present, without pretense, knowing that your true self is enough, more than enough. And isn't it fascinating how the mind naturally lets go of judgments in this state? You may find yourself embracing this idea. When you're vulnerable, people don't see flaws. They see courage. They see the beauty of someone who dares to show up fully and completely. Think of every time you've been honest, open, and real. It always felt lighter, didn't it? That's because authenticity, it isn't something you create. It's something you allow. And the more you allow it, the more natural it becomes. Imagine, with each breath, you're stepping further into your own truth, feeling how deeply it resonates within you. People are drawn to this energy effortlessly. You might notice how courage feels, like a steady pulse in your chest. It's not loud or demanding, it's simply there, quietly reminding you of your strength. And every time you take that small, brave step to be vulnerable, you feel that pulse grow stronger. Picture yourself in a moment where vulnerability might once have felt challenging. Now instead you see it as an opportunity, a gateway to connection, growth and freedom. Isn't it amazing to feel the quiet certainty that you can handle whatever comes next? Your mind is already beginning to rewrite the stories you've told yourself about vulnerability. Imagine each limiting belief gently dissolving, replaced by empowering truths, like clouds clearing to reveal a bright blue sky. The barriers fade and clarity remains. Imagine holding a delicate feather in your hand, representing others' opinions. As you release it, the feather floats away, carried by the wind. You realize it was never yours to hold. It was never about you. All that remains is the freedom to be unapologetically yourself. Picture a warm golden light within you. This light is your truth, your worth, and it shines regardless of how others react. It's constant, unwavering. You can feel it now, can't you? That quiet knowing that your emotions are valid and your vulnerability is your gift. Imagine your grip loosening on the reins that you've held so tightly. The more you let go, the more you realize you are never really out of control. Vulnerability isn't about losing control. It's about gaining trust in yourself and the world. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, allow your mind to drift. Picture these beliefs as seeds, gently settling into the rich, fertile soil of your unconscious mind. Each seed represents a core belief. When I'm vulnerable, I'm strong. My authenticity inspires connection. I trust myself to handle whatever comes. Being real makes me powerful and magnetic. Imagine these seeds growing effortlessly into tall, sturdy trees. Their roots run deep, anchoring you in confidence and strength. Their branches reach wide, creating space for connection and growth. And as you relax further into this process, you might notice how these ideas they begin to echo in your mind. Perhaps you hear a quiet voice, one that sounds like your own, affirming these truths. I'm safe to be seen. Vulnerability opens doors to love, understanding, and growth. I'm more than enough just as I am. And each time you hear these phrases, whether now or later, in moments of stillness, they sink deeper, becoming a part of you. Your unconscious mind knows exactly where to place them, how to integrate them seamlessly into the way you think, feel, and act. Picture yourself a week from now, a month, a year. Notice how natural it feels to express vulnerability in ways that enrich your life. See yourself sharing openly, connecting deeply, and moving through life with a quiet, steady confidence. Every step forward reinforces these truths, making them stronger, more unshakable. And as you come back to this moment, you can feel how deeply these changes have already taken hold. There's no need to try. They're already working, growing, transforming you from within. Take another deep breath, letting it settle. Everything you need is already inside you. From this moment forward, you're aligned with the truth of your vulnerability, your courage, and your strength.